It's WFRV Plus Sports Night, and oddly enough, on a traditional Wednesday. And why I say that is we haven't had a lot of those this season. Hey everyone, Cameron is there with you with so many primetime games. You had that Monday game against the Eagles and the Commanders game earlier on in the season on Thursday. And then, of course, that Thanksgiving game in Detroit. There's been a lot of non-traditional Wednesdays in which your Wednesday is actually your Tuesday or is your Thursday. And for those Thursday games on a short week, it's just walkthrough throughout the week. So you barely get an indication of who's hurt or even the eye test of, hey, is that person injured? Are they out there in more of a limited fashion? And today we finally got a look at a lot of guys that were returning from injury or at least practicing in a limited fashion after we hadn't seen them on the practice field for a while. Some of those including Brenton Cox, who's been on the IR for a good portion of the season now. That's a defensive end the Packers could use after losing Devontae Wyatt at the defensive tackle spot. On top of that, you have Colin Oliver, who I think a lot of people forgot about because it's a rookie who hasn't really practiced at all. Even in training camp, he dealt with injuries throughout, but his 21-day practice window was activated the other week. So now he's on the road to recovery. Marshawn Lloyd, the running back, the third round pick from a year ago, who, those injuries have derailed his career, haven't it? And it's just sad because that's a guy who the coaching staff has told us, hey, I haven't seen a lot of bad luck like what Marshawn Lloyd has dealt with. He was back out at practice after his 21-day window to return was activated the other week. Jayden Reed, who we saw practicing 2 Fridays ago, was out there. Remember, his 21-day window was opened, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So now we're getting to the point where maybe Jayden Reed plays this weekend. And not to mention Carl Brooks out with a toe injury the last few games. And a lot of, plenty of mum word around Carl Brooks, or I don't even know if that's the right term to use, but his absence was kept very moot amongst the coaching staff. And now he's even more important with Wyatt going out for the rest of the season. So you have guys like that making their way back. I mean, I haven't even included Quay Walker, who's missed the last 2 games with a neck injury. He was out there once again in limited fashion, but looked a lot better after this elongated break. So it was one of the first times on a Wednesday where I've walked into a practice, both stretch inside and the media portion of filming outside, and been like, my goodness, there's so many guys who are out here that weren't before. I mean, honestly, they're filtering into my brain. Nate Hobbs, the cornerback who was out for, 2-3 games with that knee injury that he re-aggravated. Remember, got that meniscus surgery or partial meniscus surgery to resolve that tear that he dealt with in training camp. And my goodness, he was back out there. So it feels like the replenishing is happening at the right time for the green and gold, which is great news, obviously, going into this 5-game stretch to close out the season. We got the 9-3 Bears, the 10-2 Broncos, the 9-3 Bears, the current AFC North leaders, the Baltimore Ravens, even though they're 6-6. Then you close out the season in Minnesota. So to get a lot of those guys back, I know, you lost Elton Jenkins for the season. You lost Tucker Kraft for the year, as well as Devontae Wyatt. But something can be said about, yes, you lose those guys, but are the pieces being filled, at least at this portion of the season, with guys who haven't contributed as much? And I would say they are, which is great news. So Packers-Bears coming up on Sunday. We'll dive a little deeper into that matchup. Before we go anywhere, the biggest news I would say of this past week, but honestly, of the past few weeks, ever since he returned on that Friday, Friday before the week of Thanksgiving, Jayden Reed, will he play? Will he not play? Rehabbing from that surgery that he had on the collarbone and the Jones fracture in his foot. And I'll say from an eye test perspective, he looked really good out there, almost better than Matthew Golden, who's just dealing with that ailment in his shoulder and has missed 3 of the last 4 games. But Reed taking reps with the team and doing so with the top guys. It's not like, there are 7 or 8 wide receivers catching passes in front of him. Reed is second on that list. You saw Romeo Doubs catch a pass from Jordan Love, then Jayden Reed, then Christian Watson. So it feels like his acclimation process is going a lot faster than maybe a lot of us expected when his 21-day window wasn't open 2 Mondays ago. And we were all kind of wondering, wait, but why would they open it later in the week? Wouldn't you open it at the beginning of the week? but then it's opened up later in the week, and all of a sudden it's sped up pretty fast. So let's talk with Jayden Reed, or let's listen to Jayden Reed and see what he has to say about his availability and a whole lot more.
Yeah, it was good. I felt great just to be back out there with the guys. It was just good being back.
How do you feel as close to 100% as you can?
I feel pretty good.
Trending Sunday?
I don't know, man. We gonna see. Time will tell.
What do you need to see? What has to be right in the next 4 days to know?
I mean, I just got to get cleared by the docs, really. That's really the last step, to be honest.
What's been the hardest part about sitting out? I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you could play Sunday, what would it mean to come out against a team like the Bears?
It'll be great, man. Just go against a North opponent. This is the basically playoff time of the season, playing in December. So it'll be great going back out there playing against them.
What's been the hardest part about sitting out?
About sitting out? I kind of enjoyed it a little bit, just to watch other guys, go out there and take advantage of the opportunity. And, yeah, man, this was like really my first time. I never had surgery ever in my career, so that was my first time literally sitting out besides me being in college and sitting out when I transferred. But other than that, yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, man. Those guys balled out, so, I enjoyed watching them.
Is there anything different coming back now after sitting out for the first real time with surgery? Is there anything you learn from it or take from it on the field?
Really just patience, man. Like, I learned a lot about patience. I learned how to cook. So that's pretty much it.
What do you think you can bring to the offense as it's starting to get trending in the right direction?
Just juice, man. Energy. I'm a high motor guy, I think. I like to bring a lot of juice and energy. Yep.
Can I ask, what did you learn how to cook?
A lot of things, man. Pasta was probably the first one. I made breakfast a lot. I made salmon, honey hot shrimp, fried chicken wings, you name it, anything, rotel, anything.
You got a favorite?
I like my rotel the most. It tastes the best to me. Yep.
YouTubing stuff or what?
Kind of, yeah, and then my lady kind of helped me. So, yep, kind of get best of both worlds.
Jayden, speaking of guys who stepped up, what was your perspective on Dontavian and what he did against the Lions? Just kind of
Yeah, man. I mean, that's something I knew he can do from the time I met him, the time I seen him at the Senior Bowl. He's always had the talent, it just takes opportunity to see it. So, he took advantage of that last week, and he's going to continue to do that.
Jayden, speaking of the Lions game as a whole, just what did you see from the offense and the way it was clicking out there, especially with Jordan throwing for 4 touchdowns?
I just feel like everything was free. Like, everybody was playing free, confident. Even, like, everything, like, all the coaches, we all believe in each other. On the sideline, we was all engaged, asking each other about certain plays. We was just together, man. It just, everything was clicking, and it just, it showed out on the field.
With the magnitude of Sunday, how do you make sure you're the same mindset of playing free as a team against the Bears?
Man, I've been through enough, and I've been through, so I never doubt myself. I've been through a lot of my life, so at this point, I've always had confidence in everything I do. It's no doubt, that I can go out there and play to the best of my ability. So, yeah.
Jayden, what excites you most about facing the Bears and just this historic rivalry?
It's my hometown, man. I grew up watching the Bears, to be honest, and it's just a blessing to be able to go out there and, participate in this rivalry. So I'm excited just to, be a part of it.
Have you been able to do any 11-on-11 stuff in practice?
Yeah. I've been limited in some reps, so.
When you do come back, are you only going to come back if you can do everything you can normally do, backfield, slot, out wide, or would you come back if you're not?
If I'm out there, I'm out there. That's how I look at it, so, yeah.
And there you go. That's the best way from the best guy, right? The source himself. If he's out there, he feels like he can do it all. Now, that you could say could halt his return this weekend because you want to make sure he's fully 100% if he wants to give it his 100%. Just as that reporter asked there on the outside and slot and jet sweeps and kind of in every single capacity of what he can bring to the offense. But You get Jayden Reed back, all of a sudden you got another weapon. I mean, over the last 3 games, Christian Watson has 13 receptions, Romeo Dobbs 10, Dontavian Wicks 8. The question then becomes, is it sustainable to spread the wealth like that, especially getting Jayden Reed back, or does it become a battling of egos and maybe a, hey, I got to get this guy the ball because I haven't gotten to him as much as I've gotten to others. So curious how that will transpire. But when you get one of your best wide receivers, arguably your best wide receiver over the last couple of years back, I think that bodes well. We'll see what happens when the final injury report comes out before that Bears-Packers game on Sunday. We're going to take a break here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. When we come back, we're chatting with Jay Love, the guy throwing the ball to Jayden Reed. That's next on the show. Back here on WFRV Plus Sports Night, Cameron Ezair with you every Wednesday. We talk to quarterback Jordan Love, and he was just named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for the second time this season, and he deserved it. 4 touchdowns for just the 3rd time in his career at over 200 yards, earned himself a turkey leg, no miscues, no turnovers, honestly, 18 for 30, nearly 60% completion percentage, and honestly, I would say probably one of those eye-popping Jordan Love performances that we've only seen a few times in his career where you kind of snap your finger and be like, hey, there you go. And I know he's had a good amount of those, but I feel like if you dwindled him down, if you try to nitpick that playoff game against Dallas, this game against the Lions, maybe even that Lions game 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, but the times where you never wavered from, whoa, Jordan Love's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Let's hear from Jay Love right now on his performance and on how the team's feeling going into the game this weekend.
How big is this game in your mind?
Man, that's a big game. Big game for sure, obviously. NFC North matchup. And obviously, the Bears #1 in the NFC. And top in the NFC North right now. So it'll be a great game, and obviously a game we got to go out there and handle business.
Jordan, you always hear, it's just another game, but why this one is not, and you guys are embracing it? Why is that?
I think for obvious reasons. Like I said, they're #1 in the NFC. So obviously we haven't played them yet. The only team in the NFC North we haven't seen. So and two games in 3 weeks. So it'll be a great matchup. They're a good team. And like we've always said, it's that 1-0 mentality. Just handle business this week.
You guys have done a really good job of taking care of the ball, but you're facing a team that does a really good job of taking it away. What have you seen from them, and what is the key to once again consistently taking care of the ball in this matchup?
Yeah, it's something that we've harped on all season. Is we got to go out there and do a great job just protecting the ball, and that's everybody. That's me, the receivers, the running backs, anybody that's carrying the ball. And like you said, they're #1 in the league at creating turnovers and getting interceptions. So, I think they do a good job. Their DBs are they're aware of the ball, and they're making plays when it is in the air. So, obviously a great group of DBs over there, but it just comes down to us, being smart with decisions and just, taking care of it at all times.
Is there anything you found different about this Bears defense than when you faced in January?
Last season, you're saying? Yeah, I think obviously new coordinator over there, new defense coordinator. So, kind of similar style, but, I think they are doing a good job. Their coverages look pretty good. And like we said before, they're doing a good job at hunting the ball right now and flying around. So they do a lot of stuff, and we'll have to just, prepare this week and see all the looks that we're going to get and go into it with a good game plan.
Your touchdown to Christian last week, you had verticals on both sides. How do you know, and when do you know that you're going to go there? Is that before the snap? Is there something you see after the snap that know that that's the right way to target?
No, it's just we call it a pick a side. You're just kind of going to your best matchup, who you want to go to, and like you said, you got mirrored routes on both sides, so you just kind of look out, see what you got, and I liked Christian winning down the field right there.
Is there something about how he ran that route that you noticed during the play, or is that okay? I like this matchup before the snap. Like, how does that work?
No, it's all really just like you said, pre-snap, kind of knowing who you got out there, knowing what matchup you got on the other side with DBs and things like that. But it's really one of those things where you just get back and you kind of peek when you get to the top of your drop, see if anybody's just one clean or anything like that. But I just kind of wanted to work Christian, obviously, with a guy with that much speed. You want to give him a chance down the field, and he did what he needed to do.
You've been doing that a lot more past last couple of weeks. I think he's got 17 targets the last 2 games. Is that intentional on your part with how he's come back?
With Christian?
To be able to, make sure he gets plenty of targets.
Yeah, I think that's kind of just the way it's gone down. But, I think he's been, capitalizing on those ops that he's had. He's done some really good job, made some big-time contested catches downfield, and I think he's improving on all that stuff. So I think when the guy's making plays, you just kind of keep feeding him. But I think it's just the way some of the plays are playing out, too, and some of the opportunities we got with coverage matchups and things like that. But he's capitalizing on all those ops he's got.
How's Jayden looked, and what's going to mean to get him back just from a yards after catch perspective? He hasn't had a lot as this time went out.
He's looked good, man. He's looked, obviously, like we said, he's been putting work on the side to be able to get back, and having him back out there at practice has been, it's been nice. So we all know what he's capable when he's on the field, and like you said, the things he does when he gets the ball in his hands, when just a playmaker, just a real dynamic playmaker. So we've been missing that. It'll be nice to hopefully get him back.
As you hit this game in this stretch, what are you most confident in about the Packer offense right now?
Yeah, I think we've improved a lot on a lot of things that we've needed to improve on from the earlier games we played, and it's all about just keep stacking, keep focusing on doing our job, and the little details that's going to help keep propelling us. But guys been stepping up and making plays. Like I said, O-line's been doing a great job keeping me clean, and the run game obviously I think has been looking better and better. So it's a lot of stuff we've just kind of slowly been improving on, and keep harping on the details and focusing on doing our job. But it's trending in the right direction.
Jordan, Matt took a stray from Ben Johnson at his introductory press conference when Ben said, "I enjoy beating Matt a couple times a year." I know you want to win the game for a lot of reasons, but is there one you want to win it for your coach? And based on what was said?
Nah, we're not worried about those things that are said. It's another game. Obviously, the Bears matchup. We're always trying to win that game.
You heard it though when you said it, I imagine.
I've seen some stuff. Yeah, I've seen some stuff.
What went through your head?
It is what it is, man.
Jordan, Aaron really embraced this rivalry and played into it. Can you feel this as a player, the rivalry between these two teams as it enters a new era with you and obviously Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I think it's a rivalry game that dates back and way before I've been here. So it's one of those things that you know what the rivalry is all about, and obviously what the week brings. So it's a fun rivalry to be a part of. But I think for the most part, it just comes down to those NFC North games. And like I said before, you got the 2 top teams in NFC North going against each other, which I think just feeds into everything a little bit more. But it's a great rivalry.
They were 5-12 last year. When did they get your attention this season?
This season, I think they've been doing some good things. I think records kind of don't always speak for the type of team that you're playing, but I think they've been trending in the right direction, doing a lot of good things. I think their defense has always been really solid and done some really good things. In the last couple matchups, we've had some close games. And so, I think their offense has been building. Obviously, Caleb going into year 2 has been doing some really good things over there. So, I think everything's coming together for them now, and everybody's seeing the type of team that they are. But they've been winning some close games, and that's what it takes in the league. But new coaching staff over there, a lot of things for them. But I think they've been a solid team.
Hey Jordan, Kyle just mentioned Aaron, and you just mentioned Caleb. I'm just curious. It feels like throughout Aaron's career, for as long as he played, he never had like a quarterback rival, right? Like Brady versus Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be fun if you and Caleb? I know you know him a little, right? Would it be fun if you guys kind of had that? You guys, both your teams are really good, and you're playing for a lot of things. Does that idea appeal to you? I know you want to win the game most importantly.
Yeah, I think that stuff all plays a part in it and makes it even a cooler game. You know what I mean? The rivalry's already there, and then obviously, Caleb doing some good things this season and trending up. So I think that aspect kind of plays another little part, like you said. Everybody wants to see the quarterback matchup, but for us, it's just another game, and I like watching him on tape and seeing some of the cool things he does. It'll be a good matchup.
Should be a good matchup. Jordan Love coming off an NFC Offensive Player of the Week nod, and DeAndre Swift was also the other Offensive Player of the Week because Caleb Williams hasn't been great while the run game has carried the Bears. So as much as we go quarterback to quarterback and you want to see that matchup take place, in the snow, Chicago being the second best rush offense in the NFL, 153 on the ground per game. I mean, as much as I get it, right? You want to see Jordan Love against Caleb Williams, and you're always going to compare those two. But honestly, it's Jordan Love against that Bears run game, which is all the more important to the Packers than it is making sure that Caleb Williams is at bay, because honestly, for most of the season, Caleb Williams has been. It's been a fairly anemic passing game. And if the Packers can force Caleb Williams into more throwing situations, if it is Jordan Love against Caleb Williams, that probably bodes better for Green Bay. So again, it'll be interesting to see, because Caleb is the type of guy, I mean, number retired at USC, had a great college career, number 1 overall pick. He is the type of guy who can break out, have a great game, because he has all the talent. Chicago's offense isn't built around Caleb Williams. It's built around that run game. That is something to take into account going into Sunday's game, is as much as you might want to see what, our contributor Jason Wilde had asked about Jordan Love against Caleb Williams, is that the future? I think it's more so Matt LaFleur and his game plan against whatever Ben Johnson comes up with. And I think it maybe even is more so Matt LaFleur against Ben Johnson, because LaFleur's done a great job with his blueprint. Against the Vikings, it was run, and let the defense do their thing. And against the Lions, it was go for it, be aggressive, keep the ball in Jordan Love's hands, and make it more of an air raid attack, knowing that the Lions want to score and extend possession. So again, I'm curious to see how Jordan Love plays on Sunday, but more so how the defense dictates that game for the Packers in terms of making Caleb throw the ball more. So maybe it is more of a Caleb Williams against Jordan Love show. When we come back on WFRV Plus Sports Night, we're going to shift gears into something that might not matter to some, because it is, as we're currently sitting, the 3rd or 4th string running back who's been on IR the entire season. But Marshawn Lloyd, back in the fold, back at practice. Just good to see him out there. And we caught up with him for the first time in, 2.5 months, on how he's been, how he's feeling. And hey, the playoffs are around the corner. His 21-day practice window, at least to return, was opened a week ago. That means he could be back by the playoffs, which gives the Packers another weapon. So don't discount the importance of guys coming back who haven't contributed so far this season because of injury. We're going to talk with Marshawn after the break. Welcome back, WFRV Plus Sports Night. Let's wrap up the show by talking with a guy who, honestly, I think that if injuries hadn't derailed his now, 1.5, 2-year career up to this point, I think he'd be a fan favorite. Marshawn Lloyd, very well spoken, very well mannered, very well respected around that locker room, has all the talent in the world. I think people forget he's a top 100 pick, 88th overall, 3rd round, just because he hasn't played. And a guy like Emmanuel Wilson, who went undrafted, rattled off over 100 yards in that game against the Vikings and really saved the Packers in that one. But we got to chat with Marshawn Lloyd, and it was good catching up with a guy who we hadn't caught up with because of that injury. Now, Matt LaFleur had said a couple weeks ago that, to get in some extra evaluation on the string of injuries that Lloyd had been dealing with, they sent him out to California to get a better indication on how he could fix or try to prevent those injuries. Because a lot of the times in football, it's how you cut, it's how you run, it's how you practice to prevent those injuries. Now, sometimes it can be fluky as well, but really this has been elongated for Lloyd. So many injuries back to back to back, only played in 6 games a year ago, hasn't played in a game this season. So here's Marshawn and his recovery process, and just how his mental's been during it all.
Specialist, where was that at?
That was in California.
Okay.
California, just to see, what we can do to figure out what was going on.
Okay. Did you get answers? I don't know if you want to talk in specifics.
Did get answers. Don't want to say specifics, but definitely got some good answers. So that's why I'm able to do what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Where's your level of confidence that this is, I don't want to judge up the past, but that this is sustainable, you can get out there and do your thing?
Confidence really good. Confidence really good. Now it's just getting back into football. Getting back into football, catching the ball, running the ball, just getting back into football shape.
How was your mental throughout all this?
Mental was good, but I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't challenging, because it happens here, it happens there, it happens. I'm a human, so definitely, there's times where I was up. Only person who really know how I feel is my girlfriend when I go back home because I talk to her different things. But just having the right people around you, Dr. Carr, our psychologist here, he helps you with everything. Talk to him, talk to my girlfriend, just be open to everybody. So I feel like that was the biggest thing, and just keep the right mind, but also just my faith, and that's the biggest thing.
So along those lines, what did it feel like to get out there as far as the mental outlook of it all?
Yeah, football. I love it. I love football. When I'm on the field, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm just ready to go. So it was fun to be out there. So when I get the ball in my hands, I make sure I sprint, as fast as I can. I catch the ball, cut as well as I can. So that's something that's stick with me throughout.
Marshawn, through the last 2 years, how many moments have you been like, why me? Why is this happening again?
A lot. But you gotta deal with it. You gotta deal with it. No, I had one of my teammates came up to me and asked me. He was like, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like it's hard. It's definitely hard. But it's you gotta keep your faith. You gotta keep your faith. You gotta keep good people around you just to make sure you keep yourself in the right mind."
I know you said you didn't, go into details about the experience, at West for the experience, but now have you had to change how you train or how you do things? Like, what some of those tweaks that you did?
I definitely did. Definitely have to change a couple things and focus on something that was really important. Our training staff and our organization really, for them to allow me to do that and do everything for me for that, it was amazing. So I'm super excited and I'm super happy that they figured that out.
What have these last couple months been like? Is it a lot of rehabbing or in the team meetings?
So yeah. So all the team meetings, I've been in there every day. My coach still keeps me like as if I'm playing. So he asks me multiple questions of pretty much as if I'm playing. I still take the tests we take every Saturday. I take all the tests. So I'm still in it mentally. Now it's just getting back into physically.
When you get back on the field, what do you think you can provide to this football team?
Whatever they need, whatever they want me to do. I missed a lot of games, but I do feel like I can do some things to help. So whenever my number's called, I'll be ready to go.
And I believe him. It's a guy that when his number was called in the preseason, he looked good. And then, of course, the injury happened. And even last year when his number was called, he can do so many things. And he is another weapon, whether it be used as a decoy or even a blocking. I mean, this guy, he's a bowling ball, right? So in the blocking game, that could be huge. One more thing to mention before I say goodbye here on WFRV Sports Night. The Packers posting this on Twitter earlier today. I'm going to try to show it. We only have about 10 minutes left on the show, but Dontavian Wicks winning the MVP, the Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player. Sorry about that. How about that? Look at that. We're in the slime. Jayden Reed handing it over to him. That's so cool. Okay, that'll wrap things up here on WFRV Sports Night. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.